Hello and welcome to another video looking at magazines. Now it's been a few weeks. The original plan was to try and do these once a week, but like probably most of you know, time soon gets away, and also we're just in the process of getting the next Amiga Addict and Pixel Addict to print. But I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to spend 20 minutes, 25 minutes just quickly doing a quick little bit of recording. And just quickly show off a few of the things that I picked up recently, and also on a quick second video just look at one particular magazine series, well, a very brief look, as I finally tick off that special reserve look back really, seeing I've had these on my to cover pile really for the last few weeks. So since last video, went over to the Doncaster Video Games Market. Thank you everyone who came over to that and bought from the Addict stall. It was really busy for us. Fantastic to see readers, speak to some new people for the first time and everything. So I do mean this. Thank you so much. It does mean a lot. Next up, we have got Revival down in Wolverhampton at the Wolverhampton Racecourse ground. So that's on the 8th and 9th of June. So that's coming up 2 weeks today, I think it is. Yeah, because next weekend is North West Computer Museum first birthday over in Leigh. We've got the Oliver twins there, and also can't remember the guy's name, but the co-creator of the Raspberry Pi. So should be good. Go over there for a few hours, see it's on my doorstep. But anyway, I'm babbling for a change. So I'm going to show off a few things that I picked up. They came from Mr. Mark Jowett, who obviously writes for Pixel Addict and also keeps me in old magazines. So I try to pick up sometimes, like I usually have a rough idea of what I want in a collection. You know, whether or not it's building it up just something short term or if it's something I actually want to keep long term, as well as the odd issue is something that takes me, grabs my eye. Now, one of the ones picked up was this issue of Megatech. This has still got some stickers on the front as well, which I think is a nice touch. Condition wise, it's almost brand new. It's from July 1992 with Splatterhouse 2 on the cover. So Megatech was launched by Paul Glancy, who was a big part of CVG. He also worked on Mean Machines. He worked at a load of games companies as well, and he's still in the industry today. Sometimes speak to him, just so you know, quick, how are you doing and everything like that. Had him on the Maximum Power podcast. So Megatech was launched as a Mega Drive only magazine. So this was issue 7. Did cover obviously Mega CD as well, and I think it eventually covered 32X. I mean, it went on for a few years. It did get sold to what's it called, Maverick magazines. And then we've also got issue 13. I picked this up because it's got Streets of Rage 2 on the cover, one of my favourite games. Yeah, I never really bought this one very often. I'm just going to show you just a quick review of how it's laid out, because it is quite easy to read, you know, lots and lots of box outs. So this is done by EMAP originally. Lots of box outs, easy to read, colourful, everything like that, you know, and it kept that same sort of layout for quite some time. And then the other one is Game Pro. Again, I have an up and down love with this magazine at times. Well, love-hate relationship, I should say. But I picked this one up off him because it's one I actually had first time. So this, it's got Star Fox on the cover, but it's also got a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 guide as well. So I mainly got this just because it's got a lot of memories. Again, still chocker of adverts, you know, compared to our UK mags that we had over here. But this is the next magazine, which has opened the door to a new, well, project really. So I have had some of these before. This is Ace, Advanced Computer Entertainment, one of Future Publishing's first magazines. It was a multi-format magazine, launched in 1987. So going back now God, get slowly approaching 40 years. I mean, it's like 37 years since Ace began. It was like late 87, really. I've been speaking to Steve Cook, ex-editor of Ace, who stayed on a magazine for quite a few years. So it lasted for 55 issues in total. Again, originally through Future. It was then sold to EMAP in 1989. Basically, I've had this story told quite a few times on the podcast, for £1 million. Now, that money then obviously went into expanding Future, and then obviously allowed them to start up so many more magazines, and probably set them well on the road of what they are nowadays. Although the heyday may have still been, say 15, 20 years ago, when there's still a lot of print mags out there. Anyway, so I picked up a few issues of Ace off Mark. I thought, yeah, okay, I've covered Zero, big multi-format magazine. Ace, I used to buy the very, very odd one of. It's been discussed on the podcast a few times, but I've never really, unlike Zero, had a proper look at it. Because I know obviously it does the serious stuff, so it does music, graphics, gaming, console games, everything like that. And it was around at quite an interesting time, because it's sort of like on the cusp of the 8-bit going into 16-bit era. That was, late 80s issues. And the console coverage was quite scarce at first. It's sort of like did start ramping up, especially in the EMAP years as well. I think that was about issue 28, 29. We'll get onto those in a moment. But then by the end, even though it was a lot of ST and Amiga stuff, there was a lot more, they shouted about the consoles a lot more, especially the handhelds as well, because obviously EMAP did have CVG, which obviously was a big multi-format magazine, and then also ended up buying more copies of Ace for EMAP years. So these cost me £15 for 11 issues, and it's a decent run from issue 40 to I think it was about 51, something like that, with Robocop 3 on the cover. I'm not going to go through all these now, because I've not even had a proper look through them yet. But I will be covering this for Pixel Addict, and there's a few people I need to reach out to and ask about their memories, and do roughly what I did with Zero for Amiga Addict a good few years ago now, and try and get people's opinions on it from both the Future period and also the EMAP stage as well. You had people like Jim Douglas, who was editor, who did eventually go on to Games Master magazine, who I've had on the show, but that was mainly to discuss Games Master. So I feel like there's quite a lot of stories in Ace. And then when it did end on issue 55, basically some of the team were moved off it. Dave Upchurch and Jim Douglas, they moved over to the One Amiga, which had a bit of a relaunch. I would probably say a very successful relaunch as well, because they kept the original, the original feel of the magazine. Well, it's a hard one to actually explain. I would say feel and not morals, that might be too strong a word, but basically what made the One special, they carried that on. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I know I'm babbling a bit there. So yeah, so I am going to start working on this Ace feature soon. Yeah, it's a magazine that does get forgotten about quite a bit, so it's going to be a big job, but I feel like I can give it some love, definitely. Okay, I'm going to call it there. Quite a quick, easy one. 10 minutes by my reckoning, roughly here. So that's good. So coming up next will be the Special Reserve one. I'll try and do that as quick as I can. And thank you so much for checking us out, watching videos, listening to me waffle about magazines. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so obviously if you do subscribe, thank you. If you do watch it, thank you. If you do comment, thank you, and etc. Anyway, I will leave it there. Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.